So you have your food product and you want to figure out when is the right time to seek an investor. When should I get outside funds to grow my brand? And I'm going to cover that right now. Glad you are joining us tonight and on our YouTube channel, Marketing Food Online. This is Damien. I hope you're having a great day. I want to bring you 4 key features to a food product that you need to have down pat before you begin to even think of finding an outside investor. And I'm going to give you those 4 reasons, and I'm going to explain why they're actually important. And I'm speaking, of course, much of what I do on my videos is from the over a decade experience being in the food business, starting my food business from scratch and developing that into a 6-figure year business and having 6 online stores and also a retail presence with our food products. And I bring you guys we have about 500 plus videos here on marketing food to help you bring your food product to market or get you online and get you up and running with an online food business. All right, so I'm going to get into these 4 key features of a food product. And the reason why I call them key features is it boils down to creating the product, focusing on the product itself, and getting it down pat and making sure that it is retail ready and it has some type of a sales history and all kinds of good things behind it before you seek an investor of any kind or bringing someone else's money into play. So before we hop into it really quick, if you're not a subscriber, as always, please do subscribe to Marketing Food Online. We have a podcast as well. We have blogs. We have tons of free resources to help you get up and running with your food product. So as always, if this video is helpful at the end, please do give me a big thumbs up. I appreciate the feedback. If you have questions, please do ask. I absolutely love interacting with you and answering questions and helping you guys get up and going. So these are not in any particular order. They're actually just going to be 4 different aspects of a food product and the type of business that you have running. And these are super, super key important. I've actually had numerous interactions with investors. When we first started, we sat down with, when we had our retail bakery, actually, we had sat down with multiple banks and we had our business plan and we had all kinds of amazing statistics and stats and all that great stuff. And it can be a challenge to get the interest drummed up in order for someone to part with money to support your idea. So that is something I definitely can tell you about. So let's get right down to it. Number 1, you need to have a solid product. And what do I mean by that? Excuse me. A solid product, you need to have, number 1, a recipe for your product down pat. I can't tell you there's numerous times I've done consultations with new food startups, and there's nothing wrong with this. Do not get me wrong. There's stages to everything. But having a recipe that you know how to make and you can scale that recipe to the point where down the road a co-packer or a private label or even yourself, you can develop it in larger batches and then break it down into the packages that you need. Understand the recipe and what really works well with it. And can it be something that can actually be scaled? Can it be taken to the next level and produced on if it's a sauce, can it be made in the hundreds of gallons at a time? Or if it's a trail mix, can you make thousands of pounds at a time? That type of question you need to keep in mind. You got to have the product down pat so that recipe is something that can be easily expanded on because as your business grows, and it will, you're going to grow, you want to make sure that process is something you understand because it boils down to you knowing it and then you implementing it to whomever is the company that's actually going to produce it for you. So make sure you've got that recipe down pat. Number 2, you need to have a sales history, okay? A sales history. You need to have, even if it's at farmers markets locally, that's fine because you're going to have a business bank account and you're going to have a traceability. You're going to have sales that are being put into that business account, and that kind of information, the sales history and the sales information can be given to an investor, given to a bank, given to a small business lender. That type of information or data is something that you're going to need to have. And of course, when you've got a business account, you could be putting these sales, all of the monies that you're making from your product. If it happens to be at farmers markets and you're just local, that's fine. That's perfect. That's always a great way to start. If you happen to just be in a facility and you're just a very small business and maybe you funded it to get started, again, you need to have a sales history. Are you selling it locally? Are you in retail stores? How long of a sales history do you actually have that you can show proof that this is not just a concept or an idea, but it's a concept and an idea that you've executed on, and you're now in the stores and you've got a sales history to show for it. Those are super, super important bits of information, as they were definitely asked of us when by some of the bankers that we sat in front of. They wanted to see some stats and some information, bank records and such, showing that we were doing good and we had the capabilities to grow and scale our facility. If you happen to be online, that's great. Maybe you're on Amazon, maybe you're on Etsy or eBay, and you obviously could show them either PayPal is doing your transactions, Stripe is doing your transactions. So you've got a sales history that's really even easier to access data like sales when you're working with Amazon or eBay or Etsy, because you can simply print up those figures. But you need to have a sales history. An investor of any kind, a bank, a small business lender, the SBA, Small Business Administration, they're going to want to know that this isn't like the first day that you've sat in front of a bank is the first day that you had an idea for a business. They're not going to give you the time of day. You need to have some type of sales history behind you in order for them to say, wow, they started from nothing. And look at it, they're doing like 10 grand a month. That's a great startup. It's a great small start. So they'll be more willing to give you money or at least invest in your idea. And you got to keep in mind the other thing. You got to pitch this to them like it's your baby. You know, a small business of any kind, when you start it up, you're putting a lot of effort, energy, and time into it, and you've nurtured it. You brought it from nothing into what it is, and you really got to pitch it. You got to believe in it more than anyone else, even the guy that's sitting in front of you, because if you have no belief in what you're doing, trust me, no one will believe in what you're doing as well, and they're not going to part with 100 grand to invest in your business. So you've got to not only show a good solid recipe, a good product that you've got, okay, you have a sales history to back it up, and you have a passion for what you're doing. If you don't have those three, don't bother sitting in front of somebody else, because they're not going to believe in it at all. Now, the next one up, know the market, know your market, know the customers that you're trying to reach. Of course, not every food product is going to be sold to everybody. Some people enjoy health food products, so if you're in the health food business, know who those people are. Know what they like. Okay, know them like the back of your hand. Even you could break it down if you've got the ability to do this. Find out the age groups. Find out, is it more women or men who prefer your product? Are they college age? Are they retired? Is it something that's like a nutritional supplement? You have to know your market. If it's junk food, who is buying your junk food? So find out who that is. And now a great way to do that, obviously, if you're at farmers markets or you're interacting with your customers one-on-one, you're going to know, you're going to see obviously who's buying your product. So write that down, keep it down, put that in your business plan, and relay that to the person that you're trying to do your sales pitch to get that investor. Let them know you have to know your market, so that way you're not just randomly hoping somebody buys it, because it's also going to help you when you start marketing and advertising and promoting the product. Is the more that you know about the people who are buying it, the more you're going to sell. It's just common sense, plain Jane as day. So know your market. Now, fourth and final one, and of course this is just four aspects of sitting down and getting an investor interested. There are numerous other aspects. I don't want to go on for 4 hours on this video, so I'm going to break it down just for four. These are four that I believe are super, super important. The fourth one and final one is know where you are going to sell it. So what I mean by that is this. Most food businesses start at home, correct? So you're going to be selling at farmers markets, events, festivals, or fairs, or some type of thing to that effect. So you're going to start from home. You want to figure out, where do you want to position yourself in the marketplace? Do you want to sell to retailers? Are you seeking this loan, this investment to get a commercial facility to mass produce your product to sell it to retailers? Are you going to be online? A lot of businesses are solely online. They could be doing it through Amazon and eBay and Etsy and even their own website. Are you going to be selling to food service? Maybe you're just going to need the money to create a commercial facility and then mass produce it so you can sell it to food service companies that then turn around and sell it to hotels, resorts, and the like, right? So figure it out and know where it is that you want to sell it. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Damien, I've never experienced being online, so I don't know if I want to be there. That's fine. If you're selling it from your home, there's a good likelihood you're not actually selling online or in retail stores, because under the cottage food laws, it's actually illegal. It's not allowed. But figure out where it is you want to go with it. You're done selling local. You've done great locally. Now it's your time to step up to the next level. And maybe you want to be in retail and online. And you don't have to necessarily know for sure exactly. Just have a good idea of where would you like to take it. If you're selling it to retailers, obviously you're going to be wholesaling them. If you're selling online, you're going to have a lot more direct contact between you and just the seller. right? So that there's a lot of variables that come into play. If you want to just mass produce it and put it on a pallet and you're selling 10,000 pounds of it a month, then you're going to want to do wholesale to retailers, right? So you want to wholesale it. So figure out what is comfortable for you. What is it that you really want to do? You want to work just directly with your own customers? You've had a lot of great experience with farmers markets. Well, then maybe just being online and selling it directly to the customer and shipping it to them, that's your thing. So think about it. Have it as an idea moving forward. And then when you're soliciting these investors, when you're sitting down pitching it, you can give them some idea of where you want to take it. Okay. Because you don't want to just stay local. You're not going to sit at farmers markets your whole life. If you're wanting to do this as a full-time business and make a lot of money, then you want to go to the next level. So give it some thought and then figure out where you want to be. So those are really quick four aspects of a food product you really need to give some thought to before you actually even attempt to try to get investors. But once you've kind of conquered these four, once you've understand these and you have it down, you can definitely feel more confident asking someone to give you $100,000 to start your business. So those are 4 great tips. Of course, I'm speaking from experience, and I hope that helps you out with your experience. And if the video was helpful, as always, do give me a big thumbs up, guys. And if you have questions, let me know. And I will see you guys on the next video. And as always, double check our podcast because we have some fantastic podcasts as well. We have over 150 podcasts uploaded, and you can listen as well as you can watch here on YouTube. We'll talk to you then.